I am Comrade Net, and I am here with Supermom, and we're going to talk about the difficulties of raising neurodivergent children. Greetings, Supermom.
Good morning.
Good morning. So, your kid, you told me, is neurodivergent.
Yes.
Yeah. And you mentioned that...
she's 14. She's neurodivergent. She did have some struggles with her challenges. When she was younger, she was a little bit aggressive towards me, and that was tough to deal with that as a single mom, being alone, trying to find that work balance, her in school, and then the family life, being a single parent, and that was very hard to balance. Some of my having to work full time probably played a part, I feel, in some of my daughter's behaviors, being in aftercare and that program not being set up to handle her challenges. But at the time, I had no choice. Then the choice was made for me. I was let go of a position, and I decided that this is when I lived in Florida. Florida was getting way too expensive. This was in 2018. I decided to move to Arizona and homeschool my daughter for a year. We made that move, and lo and behold, the pandemic started. So that made it even more challenging to try to set up services, to set up any kind of social interactions for my daughter. That the pandemic ceased that completely. So that also led to some of her more challenging behaviors. And then having to not work to be able to, I made that choice to not work and go through my life savings in order to get her the care that she needed. You know, I found a good school in Phoenix. We're established there. She's in her second year of in-person learning. But still, I don't work, and so I can pick her up, take her to all her therapies, and get her everything she needs so she can be a successful adult. But my life savings is gone. Now we're at the end of a pandemic, and I feel like there's no help. There's nowhere for me to go right now. I can't find that work balance yet where I could work and still be able to give my daughter all the services she needs. So that's my struggle right now, trying to find that work balance so I can afford to live, because I can't get government services because, well, I probably would, but I feel like the last time I tried, I made like $3 too much. So I didn't qualify for any government help, and I know there are ways to work around the system, but I don't feel that's the right thing to do. So I struggle because a lot of people aren't always honest, and I feel like a lot of people get help, and once they're established and back on their 2 feet, they still rely on that help and don't allow the next person that needs that help.
So you understand the importance of self-efficiency versus dependency, I see.
Yes, absolutely. And I've never, ever asked for help, ever. And that is kind of a bad thing in a sense, because sometimes people really do need help, and sometimes you just need help, from a neighbor or a friend, not just government assistance help and stuff like that. But yeah, I try to be as self-sufficient as I can, which is impossible these days.
You were telling me before how as opposed to the current system, particularly with landlords and all that in apartment complexes. It might be better if we had more of a village mindset
Yes.
membership, which is very, that's actually like a keystone in the Demarchist theory, is actually the idea of doing that very thing.
Yes.
Because our theories are more based on the organic process of what people have been talking about. Like, what do you have any ideas of rules, like what a vanguard rule would be, of like guardians of a neighborhood as opposed to landlord, like how we would vent the process democratically? Or
Well, I think we could all, if you're talking about like a voting system,
Mhm.
I think we could do that. But I think there does have to be, unfortunately, you can't isolate yourself from every mindset out there. There's going to be mindsets that are not on the same level. And just because, I'm okay with, people having different opinions,
Mhm.
people aren't always okay with everyone else having opinions. So I feel like, just like in elementary school, there's a natural, I don't know how you want to call it in children, a bully system.
Mhm.
There's going to naturally be that, I think, without some kind of a vanguard, a checks and balance. But it doesn't have to be ruled with violence. I think it could be ruled democratically. I think it could be ruled where we all make choices together. But it's hard to find all of the same mindset people. And then that, in and of itself, could be a problem, because then we'd be isolating ourselves from other people's, though. And we wouldn't, you know what I'm trying to say?
No, I do. Organically, the way that the People's Social Freedom Movement sets it up is that in places surroundings like this, and I think I've mentioned to you before, this has actually been the most successful neighborhood where we've been able to do the community organizing,
Yeah.
And communal sharing. In our position, because of the fact that we are the primary cooperatives, like people like myself, Comrade Broke Mom, Grandma Gypsy,
Yes.
Paladin, Comrade Luna, we would be that vanguard, actually,
Okay.
because we're the ones with that's how that would start. Now, it couldn't end that way, because no matter what institution is and how necessary even it is, it's corruptible.
Yes.
This is a big thing.
I think that's what I was trying to get my point.
Yeah, anything's corruptible. I don't care what it is. I'm
Yeah.
like, and certain institutions are necessary and we need them, but then again, it requires its own kind of oversight. That's why I think that a healthy vanguard is one that is still actually accountable to the democratic process in
Yes.
some way. I'm not so sure if I agree with the communist idea of democratic centralism, because that can work, but the problem is it usually revolves around one person or it defaults into that. They call it commandism, but I've always said, democratic centralism leads to commandism. I think that the process should be there should be a symbiotic relationship between the vanguard and all those that want to show that they're want to stay and properly stay. And I mean, I don't, for instance, blame the landlord for the roaches, but I do blame the landlord for taking sweet ass time about the roaches, the terrible roach problem we have.
Yes. Actually, even though it's still terrible, that other building was much worse than this building that I moved into. Because I moved from, and I had to do that. I moved from, and I made that decision, and it was a hard decision, but I moved from a 1-bedroom to a 2-bedroom, knowing that my output, I'm not getting any more input,
Right.
but my output is going to increase. But I had to do that. I had to do that for my emotional well-being,
Mm-hmm.
for my daughter's emotional well-being. And granted, I know they would have raised the 1-bedroom anyway.
Mm.
So I can't think of it as such a giant jump, because they would have raised it anyway. But it is, and I'm not getting any more input. But sometimes I just try to do whatever I can for my daughter. That is always my main focus, 100%.
I understand that. We were talking before that my kid, the notorious Corporal Cat, is neurodivergent, and they're also 14, and I can't. I don't even know if I could, without saying too much, like begin to describe the uphill battle a lot of that has been.
Yes.
Because it's not just that there's a physical injury that I don't want to get too much into, but like it happened during birth, and it's funny. I didn't know they were neurodivergent. So when I look back, I'm like, why did I handle this way? How could I have been so stupid?
No, but you didn't know. Hindsight. And love is blind.
Yeah. I do love them. They're a very intense, wise child, honestly.
Yes.
And that's something else I've noticed about neurodivergent teenagers. They seem to be wiser than the rest of us. I don't know why. Like, I'm not saying I can completely agree with everything they're saying, but they seem wiser than us.
They do. My daughter is so amazing and so frustrating at the same time. The same exact breath. But yeah, everything I do, I will not eat so my daughter can have a meal. I will not, I couldn't go on a job interview the other day because I didn't have proper shoes. Actually, it was just a job fair. It wasn't a job interview, but I didn't have proper shoes, so I didn't feel I could go into a job fair with flip-flops. But like I said, I would give, but then to have like more of a, a community mindset and a sharing and just knowing, like, hey, my neighbors are in the same situation. I'm not alone. I've been alone for so long. I haven't been accepted into anything. So yeah, I did feel like I'm, facing the world by myself. But it would be nice to have people that would just that whole village mindset. I'm just here for you, and you're here for me. And whatever we need to get done, we'll do it.
That's good. That's very good. I appreciate this conversation. Thank you so much, Supermom, for talking to me.
It probably went another way.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Because I'm like a shiny squirrel.
This is fine. This is mostly this is an organic process. There's no script to this.
Well, this was my very first experience in anything like this, so I kind of.
Well, you've been in PSFM for a long time now. We've weathered a lot of storms out here.
Yes. No, but I've never sat down and had a interview type thing.
Well,
I'm a little nervous.
I get to tell people I was the first to ever interview, Supermom. If anybody else wants to do this. But thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
If there's anything else, though, if there's more,
Oh no, I mean there's always more, but that's okay.
Right. All right. Hail, comrade, and hail you. We are the neighborhoods, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.